Greetings. Welcome to another video. My name is Wa, and if you are new to my channel, on this channel I discuss things related to spiritual healing as well as my own personal self-love journey. It's very gratifying when you communicate with people and they're like, oh, what you said really helped me. And so, in that spirit and in that intention, I do share content on this channel for healing to help other people with their growth and their journey. So, this video is a fasting reflection. As you might know, if you've watched some previous videos, I do practice intermittent breatharian fasting or intermittent dry fasting. And it has shown a sister. Because originally, when I would say about 10 years ago, I was like, yep, be a breatharian. And then now I'm like, whoo, breatharians is super magical. They're like pulling in a whole nother level of strength. So right now I'm cool with my couple days a week practicing breatharianism as a cleanse, as a spiritual practice for elevation, for cleansing, and for healing. So some of the spiritual food that I received this week from my work was dealing with being single. All my single, beautiful people out there. It's so crazy because, like, Sunday, I had a conversation with my brother. He's definitely a spiritual brother, a kung fu brother. He was like talking about how his experience with, communicating with sisters and, how their reactions make him feel. And when I speak to people, I try to really analyze the situation and how I can best be of service to them as a spiritual sister. So I'm still meditating on that, but it was a theme because the same thing he was thinking about, I was thinking about, somebody else was thinking about, lots of y'all out there in the single universe was thinking about. So what I want to say is at the beginning, I went into the fast feeling a little bit unbalanced. And, stereotypically, if one has been lax on their meditation, the closer that we get to the moon cycle of the full moon, it can be a little bit of a enhancement of emotions surrounding these type of topics, especially in the evening. So, strikingly enough, that's when I had the conversation with the brother about his, situation. And then I had a conversation with myself about my situation. And, pardon me, I realized by the next day, after I slept on it, that we all have to be super patient with ourselves, with our journeys. I mean, this brother is beautiful. He practices Kung Fu. He practices Tai Chi. He's on point with his practice. But everybody has to go through their alignment process. And the key is not to judge yourself, because that's what I told him. I was like, it sounds like you're judging yourself. It sounds like you're judging yourself based on the way that these women are responding to you. And that is not a good thing to do. You cannot judge yourself based on other people's projections. You cannot judge yourself. I mean, you can. I can't tell you what to do, but that's not a wise practice to judge yourself based on other people's, reactions and projections, because what purpose does it? It doesn't serve a purpose. No, not in my opinion. What is critical for somebody that's just kind of like putting themselves out there, like him being a male, he's, aggressive energy, like going up to sisters like, hey, what's up? Not like that, because that's a feminine energy, but, let me try it again. Hey. Just kidding. I'm not even going to try to mimic him, but you get my point. So I advised him not to judge himself based on others, the way that sisters respond to him, not feel lowly about himself, not to let it affect his confidence. Because what it sounds like, to be honest, is that there's unalignment. That's why I was like, what type of woman are you? What type of woman are you going up to? What type of woman are you inquiring with? Because he might need to change his candidate pool, to get some different results from, on the whole masculine side. Feminine side, I don't think we're supposed to seek. I think we're supposed to, just be receptive. Like, oh, did you just smile at me? you know? And then see what happens, excuse me. So that was the theme. It started on Sunday before my, weekly intermittent thing. And as I woke up in my rising into the week, into the cleansing, I was like, I got more clarity. I felt very balanced. And I was like, okay. I was able to see things for myself a little bit differently and actually take the same advice that I gave him. Now, even though I wasn't looking at my situation in the same way, I still was a little bit regressive in my energy just because of the whole my moon energy. And I don't mean the moon cycle because it's not there yet, but and it better not come because I'm on the deer exercise. If you don't know about that, then ask your girl. So anyways, I was, still the moon energy, it affects me. My moon is in Capricorn. So at nighttime, I can be a little bit different than the daytime. I just feel differently. I feel like more different. I'm going to leave it there. It's peace, but it's different. So when you become aware of yourself and the way that you feel when the sun is up and the way that you feel when the moon is up, then you know what I'm talking about. Now, some people, they don't pay attention to that and they just thinking whatever. And also, it's good to take note of how the changes you feel during different phases of the moon as well. But back to this topic. So, the brother, a sister, and I've dealt with this too before, being depressed or feeling upset about being single. Now, let me say this. A lot of times when people are stressing out about being single, they're spending too much time focusing on their past behaviors, people from their past that they've left behind, and they're intertwining that into where they are right now. And that's like someone walking forward with a boulder attached to their ankle. It's going to be hard to move forward. So, thinking about the past while moving forward is heavy and totally slows down the process and blocks the manifestation process on so many levels. It's counterproductive because it's basically somebody radiating that they want to experience more of what they experienced in the past. We're like the sun. You know how the sun is emitting its light, it's radiating its light. So our thoughts are radiating. So when you think about the past, the negative past, that's a frequency that you're emitting. That's what you're radiating, like the sun. So, the sun's all magical and all this lovely heat and light is emitting. When somebody is thinking about their past and their negative past, it's like they're just emitting a pain frequency, pain energy. And then that's what's being sent out. So they can get caught up in that energy, even no matter how long it is, whether it's an actual extended depression meditation or it's just a short period of time. It's still energy that they're sending out that comes back to them, and it's just counterproductive when you're trying to stay in the present and focus on where you're at. Our minds definitely have the power to magnetize, which is what I was just explaining. We know that the imagination is a superpower. So when we don't control our mind, when we don't control this superpower, it is actually a super weapon. Let me say that again. When people are practicing the rituals of anxiety and depression on a consistent basis and they don't practice emotional auditing, they are utilizing their mind as a weapon against themselves. They're practicing self-abusive behavior. Now, the person probably did not, create this activity, of abusing themselves, but it's something that they've learned that they have to unlearn through emotional auditing, meditating, taking an hour a day to meditate. One of my favorite and first, I'd say right now, one of my, so far, favorite teacher and first meditation teacher would broke down, what meditating for 62 minutes a day does. And it just works on the hypothalamus, the gray matter in the brain. It's like there's just so much that happens on a brain level that is important because that's what controls behavior. And I'm talking about thought reaction behavior. So to correct these patterns of anxiety and depression, one has to at least put in an hour a day of meditation. Now, once you get deeper into your healing, you'll notice that if you miss a day, it's not like, oh my God, shit is all fucked up. Excuse my language. But in the beginning, it can be that way. Once you get to a certain level in your growth, you can miss a meditation day and it doesn't affect you. You just notice like, oh, okay, I'm cool, but that meditation would have been nice versus just things just feeling off balance because the growth in the work is still needed in so many areas. So, a way to not get overwhelmed with depression and impatience, because there's a lot of impatience going on when you really get to thinking about it. People are impatient with themselves in their journey. They're impatient. They're like, man, why isn't this happened yet? Why don't I have a partner yet? I mean, this is two people. I've heard this in myself. I'm in the single category, and I was having some type of thoughts, but I can't say that it was just like a why per se. But I did feel like a desire, a strong desire, like, So I would say that my energy was more like a desire not so much as like as a why, because I know why, because I really got a lot to do, a lot of work to do. So, but for the gentleman that I was speaking with, it definitely was a why. Like, why isn't this manifested for me? Don't be impatient. I know you're going to watch this video and you're going to be like, no, she didn't call me impatient. I'm not calling you impatient. I'm saying that we all have to be patient with our specific process. And you already know. I've been like chilling with self for a minute, a long minute. And I'm getting more and more and more comfortable with it the more and more I see the things that I need to do. So I have some more advice for that brother, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. But basically, when you have patience with yourself in your journey, you have gratitude for where you're at right now, gratitude that you're not in some bizarre, unfavorable situation of the past, or gratitude that you're, just be grateful for where you're at. I think a lot of times people spend too much time thinking about where they're not at and just practicing the lack of gratitude meditation. Like, I don't have a partner yet, or, it hasn't manifested yet, whatever it is. And it's like, okay, that's not, productive to the manifestation practice, because all that dissatisfaction is being radiated. So that's again impeding the manifestation process, the moving forward process. It's good to be grateful for where you're at. It's good to be patient and practice patience with where you're at, and celebrate like where you're at. Be grateful for it. And if somebody has manifested into your reality and you ask them for a relationship or to take them out or whatever, and they're like, no, but I'll be your friend, celebrate it. Don't feel rejected. That is like, a friendship is a gift. Like, seriously, you know, especially like a friendship with the divine feminine. I mean, seriously, because there's so many aspects involved into a partnership. Why do people want to skip the whole getting to know somebody process and just fast forward into, oh, I'd like you for that position? You don't even know me, though. Wait, your third eye open? But I'm saying, though, it's like, it's good to be patient with people. And this is for like evolved men. Like, this brother is practicing his virtue. I got so much respect for this brother. He's practicing his virtue. And I think that's dope, because he could have went to prostitutes and, just any old woman that, he didn't want to be with and been dissipating energy. But he chose not to. So that's like commendable and respectable. And it's like, if you're a sister and you've been, practicing, self-preservation, commend yourself too. It's like, it's respectable. It's applaudable, because it's like, it's good to honor yourself and protect yourself, love yourself, and do what's right for you. And wasting energy with places that is not, that are not substantial, is just, why? No, don't even ask why. It's like, no, I'm not asking why. I'm communicating that it is doesn't serve a wise purpose. It serves a self-destructive purpose. It serves a dissipation of energy purpose. It serves a waste of energy purpose. But, you know, if you want to serve the staying in alignment and an attraction purpose with what is true for you, then it's good to be patient and not bombard yourself with being overwhelmed with the fact that, it hasn't manifested the way that you wanted to. Like, oh, this sister is not here yet, or this brother is not here yet. Celebrate your friendships that you have and build with those. I think that's beautiful. It's good to have friends of the opposite gender. We all have feminine and masculine energies, as we know. Good to be balanced in the one that is most dominant for you. But it's important. It's important to have friends of the opposite sex. Like really genuine, true friends, like that actually care about you and want to help you when they have time. You can't be getting mad at people when they're busy because they got responsibilities or thinking that they don't care about you because they live in a life trying to survive and deal with their effects. And that's something else that I wanted to discuss because I noticed that, when people get caught up in the depression, even if it's just for a moment, is because they are oftentimes thinking about the effects of their choices because they're dealing with the effects. So it's important to acknowledge it. Like, okay, this poor decision was made. This unfavorable situation was created. I'm clearing it up. I'm cleaning it up. But just for acknowledgement, so not to repeat the same mistake. But it definitely should not turn into a meditation because that would, again, be self-abusive behavior because it's like you're torturing yourself thinking about something that doesn't make you feel good. And in my opinion, there's no reason to do that if your whole goal and objective is to learn from it, grow, heal, and completely transcend. So I already said that when you want to heal and evolve, you have to let go of it 100%. And pertaining to thoughts of the past that sometimes come up during the period of solitude or the period of manifestation in reference to people that are single and they wish they had a mate. Still have to release all of that. And I do understand how difficult that is from the woman, perspective, because there was something that bothered me for a couple of years, but I had to let it go because if you don't, it creates depression, anxiety, just unhealthy, toxic energy. And when people are consistently concentrating on negative experience, concentrating on negative experiences, they're creating depression, they're creating anxiety. So, if you think about specific events in your past and they're bringing you down or making you feel like you're about to change your emotional state, like you feel yourself just kind of like about to have a negative response to it, it's very important to audit it, like right then and there, and just move it out the way and think about something else, like positive, affirm something else. So basically, because if you allow it to bring down your spirit or change your emotional state and make you unbalanced for even a moment, then that's regressive. It's important to get to the point where you are auditing yourself right in the moment, like, which takes practice because people get in the habit of practicing anxiety. People get in the habit of practicing depression. So once you start to emotionally audit yourself, then you're like, okay, hold up. I see what's going on here. I'm getting overwhelmed with everything that needs to be done. I'm getting overwhelmed with what hasn't happened yet. And you can start to see your mind going in that direction, which will create an energy next. So then you audit it, you stop it, so that you don't even deal with the full permeating of that energy. It's like you don't even allow it to permeate yet. You don't even allow it to just surface. You're like, hold up, stop. Okay, I see what's about to happen here. Yes, I know I need to do this and I know I need to do that. And I know this needs to happen and this needs to happen. And I will do that. This will happen. And you just kind of get yourself back to the now. The now of it will. It's coming. So when you do that, then you are practicing emotional auditing. You are practicing mental kung fu. You are kicking. Sorry, I was about to say you kicking ass. But you are turning your mind into a tool that works for you instead of a weapon that you abuse yourself with. You don't want to be in that situation. And I know from experience, because I allowed myself to get to that point where, and I'm growing out of it. So I'm able to actually share from an authentic space. So, like I said, you start catching yourself as soon as it comes. And this becomes literally like your kung fu. Block it or strike that negative memory before it fully permeates into a negative thought. Also, when people allow themselves to retract into negative thinking, they're often being ungrateful for where they are and thinking about where they aren't, relating to the poor past choices. And like I said, it's fine to think of the past as a relative to the present in relation to clearing up all the effects of the decisions made, surely, but still it doesn't do one good to meditate on it excessively, just for acknowledgement of cause and effect, to not repeat the same behavior. But don't turn it into a regressive meditation. Don't turn it into a consistent concentration, a depression, or an anxiety, episode. Just start to train your mind to not think about those things. And what makes it a martial art practice, because once you start to feel, or once you start to see yourself going in that direction with your thoughts, you just block it, and refocus. And once you actually start to really practice it, it starts to get even better and better and better. And then you can start to pick up on too when you are actually picking up on others' projections, whether it just be stuff that still needs clearing out of the psyche, or, people actually like being negatively busybody. Nothing else to do with the existence. But, you just gotta pray for people, miracles, and also protect yourself with your meditation and your prayer. So, this ball is like mad heavy on my wrist right now, but I'm getting stronger. So, as I stated, I have noted that these negative experiences that make people feel anxiety or depression should not be brought up every day. This will be excessive self-abuse and self-sabotaging, which I said. You just want to stay in the present and be grateful for it. It's very important. Also, and be patient, because this goes back to the discussion that was had thrice this week. be patient with the whole partnership thing. You know, I just told my brother to be patient. I told myself to be patient. I told a sister to be patient. Patient with your healing process, patient with your journey. And knowing that the partner that you want will come when it's time. When it's your time. I know you're like, I'm tired of that. But it's the truth. Like, don't be mad at it. Just dance through it. Like, just be happy with it. Like, okay, it's gonna happen when it happens. Let me enjoy myself meanwhile. Like, let me do things that make me happy. You know, let me focus on my purpose. Like, my purpose outside of that. My purpose outside of, you know, partnership. I mean, it's like people aren't just here on the planet to mate and procreate. They are actually also here to create things that express their soul's destiny. Like for me personally, I like to help people with their healing. So I've decided to share these videos as well as get certified as a breatharian healer and a cosmic sexuality instructor. So, and in addition, I like to write and I like to sing and I make music to contribute to the healing energy on the planet. And that's me. So like that's been a part of my self-love journey and my patience journey with myself. Is just putting energy towards those tasks. Energy towards myself instead of if you're in a partnership, your energy gonna go to that partnership. And I know because I've tried some situationships. I can't even call those partnerships because that's just blasphemous. So when you are single, you have the opportunity to focus on self, focus on your purpose, the things that you want to contribute to humanity, and just get into it, dance with it, and love it, embrace it, celebrate it, create it, and just enjoy it. And be happy and be grateful. Be grateful that the Most High, be grateful that Source is allowing you to be fruitful in that way. Like if you naturally like to write, then write, and that's beautiful. And focus on that. Focus on your purpose. Maybe too much focusing on attracting a partner or being alone is not a necessary focus. Not saying that you would want to be alone forever, or if you don't focus on it, then you're not making space for it. I don't think so. I think that there's this thing that I learned in school back in the day. It was like this pyramid, and at the bottom of the pyramid, it had, like basic needs and wants and survival. And then at the top of the pyramid, it had creating life's masterpiece. At the top of the pyramid, it had creating one's life masterpiece. And so when people are still in the stage of, establishing their survival, establishing their, foundation, it's okay to 100% immerse yourself in that and just reject, any focus on another party, especially if you want to just get into master manifestation. That's what I think that's the way to really just get into it and complete your projects and actually fulfill projects that are related to your purpose and in action fulfilling your purpose because you are creating, completing, and creating success, and that's beautiful. So I think that is a perfect antidote for those that are like, oh, single. Focus on yourself. I'm single, focus on yourself. I'm single, focus on yourself. Focus on your purpose. Focus on the things that you need to do. And it's just so important to focus on self. I had a meditation teacher at one point in time who parting words was like, focus on yourself, focus on your healing, not other people. And I was like, a little bit, I am focused on myself. I've been focused on myself. I've been focused on my healing. Ego is like, that's what I've been doing. But your situation should be reflective of the work you've been doing. If it doesn't reflect your highest level, then there's still work to do. And so I had this conversation with a gentleman that I know because he was like, I am da 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 da, and I am this and I'm that. And I was like, does your environment reflect that? And I was like, don't take this as a bash because this is a conversation that I had with myself. It's people lie to themselves when they say that they are something and their actions and their environment do not reflect that. So if somebody says, I'm a changed person, but then their actions don't reflect that, they're still doing the same things that they were doing before, then they haven't fully healed or fully changed. Now, they might have been working on it, so they feel like they've healed because they're not in the same state that they were in before. They might have been really effed up, but they are still in the need of deep healing and deep transformation. Obviously, sometimes, some people, some specific situations. So it's like when, I'm not dishonoring anybody's growth, and they should not either, but it's important to be real with self and know when you still have healing to do. Somebody saying that they've healed and they're a different person, but they still trying to hurt others, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, your actions aren't reflective of healing. Your actions aren't reflective of change. I understand that you aren't on the same level as you were because you ain't really trying to do super fucked up stuff to people, but you still doing fucked up stuff to people though. Sorry. Pardon my profanity, all of you profanity police. I used to be so clean. I didn't say nothing. But we getting back there. So anyways, the person's environment has to reflect their growth. So somebody's lying to themselves and they're not being real with themselves and where they at when they say I am, and then whatever that follows the I am is not reflected in their environment and their actions, there's still work that needs to be done. This is not about proving anything to anybody else in a conversation. This is about being real with yourself. It's important because that's who you got to deal with, yourself. So it's important to be real with self and do not judge yourself and say, oh man, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I've been focused on it. There's so many layers to healing, especially for people that are constantly creating more things that they need to heal from. That slows down the process. So while you're like, okay, I've been focused on my healing, anytime that somebody does anything that creates new things that they need to heal from, then they're just slowing down the process. They're creating more that they got to clear up. They're creating more that they got to heal from. And so, that becomes evident when somebody is really evaluating self from a healthy space. This is not about depression meditation. This is just being real with self. so that, you can move forward and be dedicated to action that is in support of the I am statement instead of counterproductive to that. So, for example, if somebody was practicing, negative witchcraft on others, some people be triggered by that word. Just stop it. This is the world, okay? We are healers and we're healing people, we're helping people. So, like I said, for those folks out there that were practicing negative witchcraft on people and they started to begat into lots of torment, inner turmoil, and confusion in relation to alignments with negative entities, then they would have a lot more healing to do than somebody who wasn't making those type of actions. But it's not to say that not to honor the fact that you are healing, the fact that you are changing, the fact that you're in a different state, the fact that you can see where you were then and see where you are now and see the difference. Nobody can dishonor that. Nobody's dishonoring that. What's basically going on, if people don't want to deal with you, is because they can still see and feel that you are still in a hurting space and you're still emitting abusive energy. And people don't have to put up with that. So that's just my advice to those people that are in that situation. It's important to do your due diligence and heal yourself. And, like I said, when my teacher used to say, focus on yourself, focus on your healing, I was just like, I wasn't getting vexed, but my ego was like, that's what I've been doing. Now what's really cracking? Ooh, I was naughty. So, kicked out of class. Seriously, I really did. Got kicked out of class. I did. For being naughty. So anyways, it's important to be patient with self. Yes, honor the growth that you had, but be real with the growth that still needs to take place. And don't be mad at people for where you at and where they at. No, stop. It's like, just be peace. Like, genuinely, wholeheartedly, and be grateful. It's important. Sometimes people be like, I'm grateful, because they nosy and they just know that that's the right thing to say. But are you really grateful though? Do your actions reflect gratitude? Are you sitting up there having temper tantrums, getting mad at people, wanting to hurt people, actually doing actions to hurt people? That's not gratitude. That's a bad, misaligned attitude. And so the healing continues. I'm wishing everybody healing, seriously. And I'm looking forward to more ascension of myself, of the community, of brothers and sisters. And it just amazes me that the fasting week started off with this theme of being single, and seeing how my brother was dealing with it, because he talked to me about it, just, brought it up with his divine self. And then seeing myself, talking to myself about it in my mind, and another sister in the community, her reflections on it. That's what I have to say to share a spiritual counseling session on these topics. I know it's hard for many people to be alone. It's an emotionally difficult thing, but it's a prerequisite for deeper levels of self-growth. It's important. You have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to be comfortable being alone. You have to be happy being alone. You have to be content being alone. That's a part of the journey. Because so many people deal with situations that are toxic because they don't want to be alone. They actually get into situations that they know they don't truly want because they don't want to be alone. They actually put up with abuse because they don't want to be alone. And they might not even realize that it's the fact that they don't want to be alone until they feel that feeling of being alone. And then they see that it was that feeling of not wanting to be alone that had them dealing with somebody that they know they weren't supposed to be dealing with anyway, the moment that they had the feeling and the knowledge and the confirmation that they weren't supposed to be dealing with that person. And then they got to deal with themselves as they are alone and recognize and analyze that pattern and say, wow, dealing with that, was dealing with that, didn't want to let go. Why? It's good to know self, not for condemnation, but for elevation, for sure. It's important. Because once you recognize that habit, then you can correct it. And you spend that time alone and heal and grow and love yourself. And it all begins with that recognizing and cutting off that pattern and that behavior. Because it's like, once you make that move, then you have to deal with it. But it's such a beautiful growth process. I don't know why my phone was doing that. It's such a beautiful growth process to love yourself and honor yourself. Some people deal with situations for too long that they know are abusive for too long. So celebrate if you were able to retrieve yourself from some. Sorry, my phone's distracting me. Celebrate if you were able to retrieve yourself from something that was self-destructive. So I had to change my device because I was losing that device. Other device was losing memory. It was just too filled up. So I just switched to a different device. But I was wrapping it up anyways. I was communicating that when you celebrate yourself and you focus on your purpose, the things that you're doing for your soul's purpose, your contribution to the planet, then you have less time to be focused on that you're single or alone. You have less time to be focused on those things because you're consumed with your duties and responsibilities to yourself for your creation. So that's very important. And that was the advice that I had for my brother friend and myself and the sister as well. Because we all have lots of wonderful things that we need to do for ourselves, for our existence, for our creation. And that's beautiful. That's a blessing to have the opportunity to do these things. So celebrate it. Be grateful. Don't focus on not having. Don't focus on what hasn't manifested yet. Focus on your purpose, the things that you want to do them, and stay in that focus. Because it's so hard to be depressed when you are busy creating your dream, the part of your dream that just is about you and your fulfillment in relation to what you want to do on the planet. Because I know your only objective is not partnership. I'm sure there's something that makes you happy that you want to do, and that's what you should be focused on. And that other partnership thing will fall into place when it's meant to fall into place. And that's just the bottom line about it. I was like, when the teacher was telling me that I needed to focus on myself and my healing. But here we are, a couple months later, and I can see why. Sometimes people take advice like somebody saying that there's something wrong with them. Maybe they are, but that's irrelevant. The bottom line is that it's good to take out all offense and just focus on the message and not be offended so that you can actually receive the message in a holistic manner. Because it's not like somebody's saying that you haven't done any work, because obviously you have. But if they're saying that you have more work to do, more healing to do, that's okay. If you know that you've done things to slow down your healing process by creating more things that you needed to heal from, then you already know why you still healing. And that's okay too. It's like, don't be mad at yourself. Don't be hating on yourself. Don't be hating other people because they ain't trying to deal with that. No. No. Just be grateful for where you at and continue to heal and create from a space of healing, from a space of love, from a space of self-love. Focus on the love of the Most High God. Focus on the love of Source. Immerse yourself in that. Be dripping wet in that self-love. Be overly consumed, overly focused on the love that Source has for you, on the love that the Most High has for you. Be overly focused on the love that the Most High has for you, not on the acquisition of a partner or not on the desire that you should have a partner, because all of that is counterproductive too, because you're thinking still should, not have. So if you're thinking should, there's that radiation thing again. Should. And I read in a book, one of those books, that's not even the right way to attract, because it's a frequency of not. It's a frequency of doesn't have. So it's not in alignment. One should be focused on the love that they have inside of them, because that's what they want to attract. You want to attract yourself. You want to attract somebody that's going to love you the way you love yourself, mirror you, meaning they're going to devote themselves they're going to devote themselves to you the way that you devote yourself to them. You want to attract yourself, your most magnificent, beautiful self. And so to do that, then you should stay focused on yourself in all of your creation, all of your activities, so that you can align with your reflection, yourself, that other aspect of self that is, manifested, personified in another being, reflecting you, and you just align. But be patient, though, with the process. Be patient with attracting yourself, especially if you're still trying to get to your highest level of manifestation, the highest level of your existence. If you're still in the aspect of clearing and healing, be patient. And that is the message that I have for today. I was going to say something obnoxious at the end, like, hey, because it went together. But, oh yeah, my brother was like, he is just so transparent with me. He was like, I was wondering, he said if, he said like, oh man, he didn't know he was that ugly because he was getting rejected. My brother, you're not ugly. You're beautiful. You are dipped in the beauty of the Most High. It is in you, outside of you. There's nothing ugly about you. What's going on is is that you're divinely protected. You're protected from being vampired by people that have no righteous intention for your energy. You're being protected from being vampired by people that have no righteous intention for your energy. Boy, man, you better celebrate that and be grateful. You can get tired of hearing me say that because I'm going to be saying that to you. I'm going to say that to you when I see you next time. For real though. Be grateful that you are divinely protected, and these women that you are approaching are like, no, because guess what? That is your divine spiritual forces protecting you from getting used or abused, or used and abused, because women can abuse too. I heard some stories from the homies, like women just being crazy, taking their money and doing all kind of stuff, cheating. So it's like, be grateful. You so blessed because you ain't got somebody pretending to be loving. You are so protected. This message is exclusively for you. You are so protected. That kiss is just platonic, though. You're so protected. You are protected because you are not getting caught up with people pretending to love you so that they can vampire your energy or your resources. How blessed you are. There's this beautiful goddess. She just has this amazing voice, but her son had the song. She was like, see how blessed you are. See how blessed you are. That's how I feel about you, brother. See how blessed you are. But that sister killed it on that song. Like, she has such amazing octaves. I love her. I love music. But for real though, it's like, see how blessed you are. Please and thank you. It's important. See how blessed you are. That you're not caught up. And that's for my sisters too. That's, struggling with the fact that they are alone. You don't believe how many sisters tell me, you're not really alone because you have children. Girl, if you had children, it would be so much harder for you to focus on your healing because you'd be focused on your children. So be glad that your ass is not slowed down. Pardon me. They don't like that profanity. But be grateful that you are not blessed. Wait. Yes, because children are a blessing. But no, for real, they're going to come later when it's meant for you to. Right now, you're just divinely protecting yourself. You're protecting yourself. That your spiritual forces are protecting you. The Most High is protecting you from getting caught up with some joker and having some type of, unfavorable connection through a child. Somebody trying to utilize the connection with a child, or just an unfavorable connection in general. You're so blessed. Yes, children are a blessing. Ain't nobody saying that they not. What we're talking about here is sisters that have a problem with the fact that they are alone and they sometimes just wish they had a child. No, you don't want to wish you had a child with somebody that's just unequally yoked, that's not on the same spiritual level as you, because that is drama, trauma, and toxicity, and children don't need to grow up like that. You love your children, so you really wouldn't want your children to be without the highest experience, without experiencing the highest of you and the highest of the other being, without experiencing the divine feminine in you at your highest level and the divine masculine at his highest level. You wouldn't want to have a child in the middle of the warfare. So be grateful that you are alone. Because I just say, you ain't really alone because you with your babies. So you don't really know what I'm talking about. Well, I remember from when I did not have children, and I would just suggest for you to count your blessings and recognize and see how blessed you are, because you truly are. You get to procreate when it's time with the divine masculine, and that's something to celebrate. Because why would you want to procreate with people that you're not supposed to procreate with? Why would you want to procreate with people that you're not in alignment with? That's just all types of trauma and drama for the mother, for the child, because there's imbalance, there's toxicity. Then you got to try to karmically balance it out, which creates more and more things that need to be healed from. That whole cause and effect thing. So, be grateful that you're by yourself and you're not creating, and that you haven't created a situation where you have to, where you're constantly healing for more and more things, adding on to the healing that you already needed. So it's a blessing that you're by yourself and you can actually heal completely without any obstructions, self-created obstructions. So see how blessed you are. Sister did it way better. She is so amazing. I love her voice. It is so dope. So see how blessed you are, people. The masculine collective and the feminine collective. You're blessed for so many reasons. For my homeboy that's single, and it's like, you're so blessed that you're not being used and abused by a vampire female. And to my sisters, you're so blessed that you're not being used and abused by a vampire male. Because those people exist out there. In those streets. In those spiritual streets. So, focus on yourself. Focus on your purpose. Focus on being happy. Talk to your friends. Enjoy yourself. It's good to have, social time. It all can't be about work. So it's good to congregate and exchange positive energy with friends. But don't feel upset. Don't feel rejected. Don't question yourself. Like the brother said, he felt like he didn't know that he felt unattractive. Don't feel that way. It's like, just be grounded in your projection of self. And if you're looking at yourself and you're thinking negative stuff about yourself, then it's time to do the mirror meditation. And the mirror meditation, if you don't know, is where you look in the mirror and you do not allow yourself to think a negative thought about self. You think positive thoughts about self. Isn't it's a part of that whole mental kung fu. As soon as you start to think a negative thought about self, block, strike, and you think something positive about yourself. Very important. And the more and more you practice it, just like with any art, you're going to get better at it and better at it and better at it. And then you used to be dancing with it. And then you have to be dancing with yourself in the mirror. Fall in love with yourself. Because most of the time, people love who they are in the inside. But, since they're judging themselves based on other people's projections, the way people respond to them, and also sometimes society standards or standards that they have put on themselves that they haven't met yet, that can, make them feel a certain way about how they are on the outside as far as their creation and the way that they look. So love yourself fully in entirety, the way that you are on the outside, the way that you are on the inside. And if there's things that you don't like about yourself on the inside, then change it. If there's things that you don't like about your environment, then keep working at it so that it can match up to your new level of consciousness, your new level of healing, because it has to align. And I said, do not judge. And you can do what you want to do, but it's not good to judge self.
based on other people's reactions. Oh yeah, and this is the last theme that I had for the week, is not getting mentally, well, this is a reoccurring theme because it first came to me last year, but I didn't get it really involved in it this time, but I witnessed myself and I caught myself like, okay, stop, pause. So not getting mentally unfocused in the judgment of others. So like it's a waste of energy when you start to focus on the judgment of others and stop focusing on yourself. So for example, it's easy to fall into the judgment game, the judgment trap. When you feel like somebody's judging you, it's easy to get caught up in it because then you start thinking about how they're judging you and then you start judging them. That's a distraction. That's a waste of energy. It's okay to rebuke something and acknowledge something unfavorable, but when you get into starting to meditate on somebody else's behavior and really like focus on it and start to have opinions about it, I think that's a waste of time. Like, extensively. It's a distraction. And because the energy of focusing on what you don't like about somebody is too consuming. It's like our minds are naturally magnetic. So then it's like it becomes a meditation. You don't need to be in a meditation about what you don't like about somebody. It's just counterproductive, in my opinion. It's much better to be focused on what you like about yourself because you want to be in the attraction of what you like anyways and not what you don't like. So if you sit up here thinking about what you don't like about such and such, that's just all an attraction. If you're thinking about all the people that you don't like or what they did, that's an attraction. Focus on self and what you like about yourself, and focus on doing things that you like to do, things that make you happy, things that are fulfilling towards your existence, purpose, objective for being on planet Earth. And that is my best advice for this counseling session regarding being alone and dealing with that, since it was a theme. So, still intermittent fasting, and it's been very helpful. I think it provides a lot of clarity. Also, if you find yourself struggling with your fasting because of the season change, you're not alone. It's like, because the season has changed, it's just like the beginning all over again. Like when I first started intermittent fasting, it's like my body and my mind is like, it's cold, but it's funny because when it was hot and I was outside and I was dry fasting, I was like, man, these breatharians is on another level. I was like, oh my gosh, I was getting dizzy. And then I had to remind myself, you're not dehydrated. Drink some air. I do. I was like, girl, you only got a couple days. Okay? People have been doing this for lifetimes. Years. You better get through these days. Coach yourself. Coach yourself into your healing. Coach yourself deeper into your healing. Support yourself. Be your cheerleader for yourself. Cheerlead yourself. And I know some people want a cheerleader with them, but you got to be a cheerleader for yourself first, So enjoy the journey, my brothers and my sisters, or sisters and brothers, somewhere out there in the universe. We continue our rebirth. I love music, and I'm grateful. So focus on your healing and your rebirth. And just like I say in that song, the reflection song, separation is an illusion. You're already aligning, therefore already in an alignment with source. and the partner that is meant for you to be with. You just have to get into a higher level of focus so that you can actually see it. But it's happening. You are happening. You're creating. Enjoy your journey. Don't be upset or impatient. Enjoy it. Celebrate it. And that is my counseling, my spiritual counseling message for the collective who need it. Don't forget to share your experience. You can comment if you have something that is related to this topic and you would like to share. If you have a question about anything pertaining to this topic, you can comment and I will answer it. If you feel like this content will be helpful to somebody else, then share it. Because there's a lot of people that are struggling with being alone and they just feel lost with the whole idea of being alone. They don't even know how to redirect that energy or where to focus that energy on yourself, in your creation. What you got to do for your elevation. Okay, so it's my rapping skills, y'all. But seriously though, that's where it's at. That's what you gotta do is, focus your energy on yourself. Just like that beautiful meditation teacher would tell me. I got kicked out of class. I'm not playing. I really did. It's like, stop focusing on me and focus on yourself. I was like, did you just humble? So anyways, have a beautiful journey. Focus on yourself. All you beautiful people that are having struggles being alone and being without a partner, it's beautiful because you're stepping into you're aligning with your partner. It's happening. It's happening. So just be grateful for it. Oh no, I don't see it right now. I don't feel it right now. That's because you ain't focused in the feeling. You are focused in the opposite feeling. Stop it. Celebrate and be grateful for what's to come, for what is happening. It is happening now. Take yourself out of the lack of it, like that it's not here now, because that is not even actually factual when you recognize the fact that you are a moving, elevating, creative being, creating being that is in alignment with your source, Most High God, connected to this other being through that. Okay? So, therefore, you are aligning. And a part of that alignment is coming into fruition in your vision. You're about to focus in on it. You're coming into focus. You are coming into focus. You know how like you get things into focus and then it's blurry at first. You can't really see it and then it just gets more and more and more and more focused. That's what's happening. So right now you can't see it. It's blurry. It's coming into focus. Coming into your focus. You about to see it. Don't be sitting up there getting mad because it's not in the focus at this moment. Just recognize that it's coming into focus because you're working on your elevation, and you're working on your purpose, and you're working on your healing. Get it and enjoy it. Peace and love, everybody. Thank you for watching. And if you are satisfied with the content of this channel, make sure you subscribe, share, and drop a comment about your experience with these topics. Peace and love.